Okay, so after that video that I did on my March of the Two Great channel, go check out my latest video over there. My neighbors stayed out for about a day or something, and they made sure to say the N word as they were walking out yesterday morning. And as they came back this afternoon, it came complete with stupid impressions of me from the stupid little upstairs. And also, most notably, as the family were walking through the door to get into their other house, they shouted at the top of their lungs, "A little bit of help wouldn't go amiss." Wish granted. Now, crimes against targeted individuals include civil conspiracy, in some cases intentional transmission. You know when perps spit in your food and spit in your drink? Yeah, that's intentional transmission, which can carry a sentence up to 15 years. There's a difference between spitting on cling film and spitting on actual foodstuffs and drinks. A big difference. Okay. In some cases, rape, because rape is not just about forcibly like doing this to somebody. It's also about not getting off when you're told no. It's about lying about who you are in order to have sex with said target. When you are a targeted individual and somebody comes in, has sex with you under false pretenses that they're not a perp, that is rape. Okay? So in some cases, rape. And then I don't even want to get into the sleeping beauty porn. That's another horrific subject for another day. So in some cases, rape. In many cases, sexual assault, which don't need human contact. They can be committed with the electronic weapons that are often fired on targeted individuals, although human contact can cause that too. In many cases, sexual harassment, because sexual harassment is part of the psychological torture. Daily multiple counts of grievous bodily harm with intent. Daily multiple counts of actual bodily harm with intent. Deliberate and forced displacement, when they basically have you move out because they don't want to do anything about the harassment against you. That's actually a war crime. What a lot of T.I.s are subjected to, repeated harassment and bombardment and financial abuse in order to displace them, that's an actual war crime. Deliberate and forced displacement, physical and psychological torture, that's another war crime due to the fact that they're inflicted by weapons of mass destruction by multiple people. The weapons of mass destruction are not what you were told about with the Iraq war. What the weapons of mass destruction actually are directed energy weapons and electromagnetic frequency weapons, because they can hit multiple people at once. And the scope of which people can have those weapons fired on them, it completely outmatches the scope of a nuclear bomb or the scope of a thermobaric bomb. The scope that one can fire DEWs and EMF weapons, like against multiple people, the scope is just completely outranks nuclear weaponry and thermobaric bombs. So that's why DEWs and EMFs are weapons of mass destruction. So physical and psychological torture, another war crime, breaking and entering, theft and robbery, incitement to violence, terrorism and suicide, harassment and stalking, multiple counts of attempted murder, in some cases, first-degree murder, in many cases, second-degree murder, slander and libel, racial, gendered and ableist hate crimes, fraud, professional misconduct, and criminal negligence. These are the crimes that wrongful diagnoses of paranoid schizophrenia come under. Fraud, professional misconduct, and criminal negligence. Kidnapping, which is what psychiatry does on the guise of those false paranoid schizophrenia diagnoses, that's kidnapping. And I don't think I've even named them all. Okay, I haven't named them all. And I really want you to pay attention to what Trump is doing, to what Farage is doing, to what the conservatives have been doing. There's a tactic that has been given a name, and it's called shock and awe, right? Now, we live in a world where common law exists to protect people, right? If you can get somebody on one crime, right? You successfully get somebody on one crime. That's months and even years of paperwork, years of backlog. Okay. There are lawyers that need to be hired for each case, or, each specific case. It's a long thing. So just getting somebody successfully on one crime involves years of backlogs. So the thing that a lot of privileged people do that they can afford to get away with, including the likes of Trump, they make sure they bombard you with crimes. They make sure they bombard you with crimes that they do over and over and over and over again, so that not only can you not get every single crime that's committed against you charged, but that you can't get every single person accountable, because we also have to take into account statute of limitations as well. And statutes of limitations make it very clear that after a certain period of time, specific people cannot be charged with specific crimes, depending on how long it's been since the people committed those crimes. So a lot of the gang stalkers that have committed crimes against T.I.s will actually get away with their crimes. Like, even if we went through the legal system, a lot of gang stalkers would still get away with their crimes due to those statutes of limitations. Okay. So each crime I've listed against T.I.s would be drowned under mountains of paperwork, and there are statutes of limitations to think about here. So even if we wanted to get all our gang stalkers on all their crimes legally, there would be no court in this country to charge them all. This is why I said, like I said, right? Gang stalkers are Nazis who brought Nazism into the mainstream. They are the reason we have fascism now, because they've been participating in fascist shit. When I say the gang stalkers are Nazis, I am not playing around. I am not saying that to get a response out of somebody, because I ain't no fucking gang stalker. You understand me? I don't say these things for effect to psychologically torture people and hurt their feelings and have them angry and scared. That's not the way I operate. That's not the way I stay. Because over the years, I've learned that having integrity is important. Because people want to hurt targeted individuals and kill targeted individuals. So if I'm going to open up my mouth and say anything, I got to make damn sure it's worth the fucking pain. So when I say gang stalkers are Nazis, I'm not saying that to hurt people's feelings. That's the fucking reality. Gang stalkers have been participating in fascist shit, which has brought fascism to the mainstream. And a lot of the public are to blame as well. I'm not going to sit here and indulge the public. The public can go fuck themselves too, because they've been warned for decades. What did they do? Oh, it's a conspiracy theory. Even now, they don't want to admit they're wrong. They would rather let scores of people die than face the embarrassment of knowing that they fucked up. They would rather let God knows how many people die than have any kind of empathy for the people that they disrespected and disregarded. And that's why things are never going to get better. Just weaponizing their marginalized status against other people. And yet when the time comes to pay the piper and pay the price for the privilege you have, suddenly nobody wants to do it. Let me continue. Gang stalkers are the reason why we have fascism now. This is the reason why I hope that washing machine in the background doesn't do too much. This is the reason why I can say with my whole heart that thinking about murdering gang stalkers, I am not lying to you here. I'm not making this up. Thinking about murdering gang stalkers of adult age is the only thing that's kept my self-confidence. It's the only thing that's kept me calm. And it's the only thing that's actually enabled me to survive out of spite. That's the only thing that's kept me going. Just the thought of like, even though I know it's not going to happen to them because they're too fortunate, even though I know it's not going to happen to them, thinking of the most horrific deaths that the gang stalkers could go through is the only thing that is keeping me level. This is why. Because there's no court in this country for these cunts because of the shock and awe tactic. There's no court in this country for them. And even though as satisfying as it is, and this is where it gets worse, because even though I find it incredibly satisfying to think about all the gruesome and disgusting things that should happen to the gang stalkers, even though it gives me great pleasure to think about it, and even though it would be justified, cleansing, and satisfying to act on it, ultimately, gang stalkers are more replaceable than water. You have no fucking idea how fucking cheap gang stalkers go. Gang stalkers are cheap as fuck. So even killing them wouldn't work because it'd be penny wise and pound foolish. They're that replaceable, they're that cheap and that fucking worthless that killing them wouldn't make a fucking difference either, because they're like the Hydra. You kill one head, it's replaced with God knows how many other heads. Imagine being that cheap and worthless that it guarantees you. Imagine being that cheap and fucking worthless it keeps you alive. Like, that's what we're dealing with here. The gang stalkers are that cheap and that fucking worthless that killing them wouldn't even be worth it because they're so easily replaced. They're so easily replaced. It would be penny wise and pound foolish. This is one of the reasons why, even though literal fascists up here tried to scare me by saying that they were saving my Tommy Robinson video, that I made it very clear I wasn't taking that shit back. In fact, I'm going to show you a status right now that I wrote. So nobody's confused, because I don't want any confusion, right? Let me just find the status. Because I said I ain't taking that shit back. I have not said anything that I intend to take back. Not one thing. Not one goddamn thing. Because that's exactly what these fascist people are on. They shock and awe with their own crimes, so that you don't know where to look in terms of getting justice. That's how they do it. Hang on, let me see the status that I wrote. Okay, let me just come out of there. Go back in. So I said everything that I said with my chest. You understand? With my chest, I said that shit. And I'm not, like I said, they want me to be afraid of the words that come out of my mouth so bad, because they go around saying shit they don't mean and cause fucking destruction while they do it. Whereas I'm over here, I'm so fucking for real. That's why they're scared. But let me get that status up. Let me get that status up and show you. So let me get this status up and show you right now. I just want to let Fabian Deacon, 1st of December, 11:20 in the morning. I just want to let everyone know, and this is in reference to my Tommy Robinson video. I didn't say anything in my last video that I intend on taking back. Any of it. And I meant that shit. And I meant that. Hold on. And I 100% hands down meant that shit. There's no court in the country for these cunts. And again, they're so cheap and fucking worthless that killing them wouldn't even be worth it. So what, what is the point in you trying to threaten me by saying, oh, we saved your video? So the fuck what, bitch? So what? Right, hold on. And also, when I said that, like, the thought of slaughtering gang stalkers of adult age brought me immense calm, And, when I was a kid, I thought about killing my bullies as well. That those thoughts are the main reasons for my self-confidence, my calm, and my ability to survive. Of course, I'm not going to take that shit back. The thought that I carried these dark emotions inside me, they were the only things that were keeping me level, keeping me calm, that killer instinct. But I think maybe it's, when I was making that other video, when I said all these things, I said I don't have the discipline to kill, and I don't have the strength to kill, and I don't have the necessarily the cunning to be able to know how to do that, and I better learn to do that. Please understand, I'm only learning that out of necessity. Again, these gang stalkers are so fucking cheap and worthless and crap. Killing them wouldn't do anything. But then again, trying to get them legally doesn't do anything either. So what do you have to do? You have to be strategic, and you have to focus on surviving. And it's not just about being joyful. I'm going to stay joyful, don't get me wrong. But it's not just about staying joyful. It's also about learning how to survive. When the chips are down, you learn how to survive. Now, I've written down these crimes on my social media, on Facebook. Everything that I was saying today, I've already written as a status. But I wanted to get it on video because these fascists wouldn't shut the fuck up. So I had to get it on video to remind them of what they are. Not even too vulnerable to die. You're too worthless to die. Oh shit. You are too worthless to die. That's what I say. That's a whole different level of, oh my God. Literally too worthless to kill is crazy. Crazy. It's one thing to be too worthless to live. They don't deserve to live either. I'm not saying they do, but god damn, being so worthless and so easily replaceable that killing you wouldn't even be worth it is crazy. You know what I mean? When it comes to murdering targeted individuals that know they're targeted individuals, there are actually stakes behind that shit. There are actual stakes behind that shit. Why do you think they're killing us slowly? They make more money from us from data mining and keeping us alive rather than killing us. They make more money that way. We're being kept alive because we're actually worth it. And even when we die, there's value in that. I mean, not as much value as us being kept alive, but even when we die, we still have more value than the people who killed us. That's a whole other level of god fucking damn it. Jesus Christ. Even in spite all the pain that I've gone through, in spite everything that's happened to me, I'm sorry. I would rather be a brokey that was actually worth the trouble than be a gang stalker who wasn't. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Now I want you to go on my social media. I'm going to link my Facebook post. It's public. And I want you to read them crimes again. And then what I want you to do is I want you to look at a status of my good friend, Jervon Brown, who's another T.I. He tried to report his gang stalking, to the US Department of Health and Human Services, Office for Human Research Protections. Okay. I want you to read his status after that. Because again, everything that we're going through is state-sanctioned war crimes, secret, genocidal war crimes, an open-air Holocaust that has given rise to the fascism that we are seeing in multiple privileged countries all over the world. Yeah, yeah. Even people who bullied me at school. Imagine, some of the people who bullied me at school were actually involved in this shit. Time to pay the piper. Time to pay the piper. There are people I don't know. There are people I don't know, entertainers I don't know who are involved in this shit. Time to pay the piper. Destroy them all. But then again, you destroy them, not worth much. Not worth much. They don't offer much in the way of like energy output or whatever. Worthless. They're too worthless even for that, even to destroy them. They're too worthless for that. Crazy. But that's the reality. So yeah, I hope my neighbors got the help they needed. Even though I know what they meant. I know what they meant. Because I said all that stuff about killing, right? They said, they're basically saying I need help. They're basically saying I need help. I get it. But yeah, I hope they got the help they needed through this video. I hope this provided clarity for them, And also, the gang stalkers have been making a meal out of free speech, freedom of speech. Now, there was only one T.I. that I spoke about this with because they wanted to write more material based on their experiences. But aside from them, the perps have been making this big deal out of, oh, I can't say what I want anymore. I can't say what I want anymore. I can't say what I want anymore. Some of you people literally tried to curse my womb because of something I said on Twitter. Some of you literally have tried, like there have been hexes on my tarot readings. People have been going around downvoting my videos, going around. And the thing is, I wasn't even saying anything that couldn't help people. I was saying stuff that could actually help people. They've been going around downvoting my videos because I wasn't talking about them. And then when I was talking about them, when I was mocking their accent, like they so miserably attempt to do with me because they're not talented. When I mocked their accent one time, there was one time where I mocked one of the neighbors' accents, right? I think I must have said something along the lines of, oh, I were angry, something like that. Like, I must have said something like that. Next thing I know, there are attempts to section me because I made fun of somebody's accent. Look at what gang stalkers have actually done to targeted individuals for speaking. Look at what has been done to targeted individuals for not speaking. Free fucking speech, my guy. I know you better rethink that shit. I know you better rethink that shit. I know you better think that one over again. But then again, this is the thing that gang stalkers do. This is another textbook staple of fascism, right? Deliberately act stupid to own the libs. Deliberately act fucking stupid to own the T.I.s and to get the T.I.s to react. Deliberate stupidity. That's what that is. That's what that free speech thing is. And that's what that, a little bit of help wouldn't go amiss is. Like acting deliberately stupid on top of the shock and awe. Just so that we can turn around and say, oh my God, I can't believe they said that. I can't believe they said that. No, I've stopped being shocked by their deliberate stupidity. I've stopped being shocked by that. And instead, if they want a video, they can get one, baby. They can get one. Right off the rip. They can get a long list of the human rights abuses and the war crimes that they've committed simply because they wanted to be able to call someone an N-word and get away with it. They can get the truth about the fact of how worthless they are, about the fact that as much as I, think about murder and all that type of shit, that literally the people that I'm thinking about doing that to, they're too worthless for that. They're too worthless for that. They're too worthless even for that. That is fucking crazy. Because again, these evil people are like the Hydra. There's always going to be somebody who's insecure enough, who's deluded enough, who's psychopathic enough, who's sociopathic enough, who's narcissistic enough to do some shit like this. There will always be someone. Gang stalkers are more common than water, and you know how common water is. Come on now, man. You know what I mean? But yeah, gang stalkers, as much as I know my thoughts and I know what I think about gang stalking adults, but you're too worthless to kill because there are so many of you. There are so many people like you. You're too worthless to kill. That's the truth of it. You're too worthless to kill. Whereas somebody like me, I know damn well, like even among T.I.s who are already a solid, strong, outspoken group, even among T.I.s, there ain't been a T.I. like me yet. And I know that for a fact. There are very few people, if any, that are like this woman right here. Very few people, if any, but there are 10 a penny of gang stalkers like the ones that I've had to deal with. Back in Harlesden, 10 a penny. Back in Willesden, 10 a penny. Back in... Lord of mercy. Hold up. I don't know if you can hear that in the background. That's loud as hell. Like, what? I'll say. Whew. I'm going to wait until that dies down. But yeah. That washing machine is just, I don't know, man. I shouldn't have done laundry while I did this video. But yeah, I got to do some readings today as well. I've got a busy day today, I've got to do some readings and then I've got to go out. Because again, might as well, fascism is here, so might as well. I think it's slowing down now. Yeah, so gang stalkers, as much as they don't deserve life, they're too worthless to kill. Back in Harlesden, 10 a penny. Back in Willesden Green, 10 a penny. Back in Cricklewood, 10 a penny. Here in Brighton, back in Hove, 10 a penny. There's 10 a penny of people willing to do this shit. But how many Marsha the Greats are out there? Real talk, in terms of targeted individuals. Why do you think I call myself Marsha the Great? How many T.I.s like me are there out there? Serious question. How many have been able to take this torture that she's been subjected to and actually become fucking stronger because of it? How many? Look at my track record. How many? It's all right. I'll wait. I'm too valuable to kill and I'm too valuable to keep alive, as is the case with many T.I.s, but me especially, because ain't nobody out here like me. But gang stalkers, they're too cheap to kill and they're too reprehensible to leave alive. So baby, you wanted that help? You got it. Now I gotta go because I've got readings to do. Okay? So Marsha the Great here. My fellow T.I.s, I love you. You are the asset. Don't you ever forget that shit. I don't care how cheap these worthless ass people, these replaceable ass people try to make you feel. You are the value. I don't care. I don't care if you're a celebrity or not. I don't care if you're rich or poor. You are the value. Never forget that shit. Act like it. I guarantee you they won't be able to handle that shit. Okay? I love you, my fellow T.I.s. Peace and blessings. Bye bye.